Hello and welcome again to Ask Alan About Low Carb Cocktails. Today I have a couple of bottles of rum that come from Grander. These are ones that may be difficult to find, but if you can find them, you want to get these. The first one I had found in the Tampa Bay area at a liquor store down there that happened to have some rums from the that were selected by the I think it was the Florida Rum Society. They had two bottles of two different kinds of bottles there. This one was the one that the owner said that he thought was the better of the two, so that's the one I got. And then the second one I'd found at an Iowa liquor store that is in Marshalltown. It's called Marshall BWS, which stands for Beer, Wine, and Spirits. They're a little small, kind of a honey hole type place. They've got a lot of stuff that you can't find elsewhere in Iowa, but they had this as a store pick, and it was from Grander also, and this is a toasted oak. The other one is Speyside. Now, each of these starts out kind of the same, but they're aged in different amounts. Unfortunately, this is 700 milliliters, and this is the regular 750. And I don't like when they use these wooden caps with a cork glued into them, because this one, as soon as I tried to take it off, came apart. This one is okay, but I hate re-gluing them because I don't want to get glue next to the alcohol, so you just have to deal with that. That's a complaint that's just on this bottle, but I've heard a lot about this brand that a lot of people say is really, really good. I just opened these. I've not tried them yet. I think that they're going to be somewhat similar, but they are made a little bit different. So I'll read on the back. This Grander Panama Rum Speyside. It's a barrel series, limited release, originally aged 12 years in ex-Bourbon barrels, and then aged an additional 2 years in an ex-Speyside Scotch cask. So you should be getting a bit of a Scotch flavor in this. Single barrel pick has been bottled, uncut, and unfiltered. Single origin, Panama distilled, aged and bottled in Panama using local sugarcane, molasses, water, and yeast. So that's what this one is. This one, which was this Iowa store that had done a store pick of this, it's also barrel seried. It's the Grander Panama Rum Toasted Oak. So it's a barrel series, limited release, just as the other one was, but this one was aged only 8 years in an ex-Bourbon American White Oak barrel, and another 9 months in a separate ex-Bourbon American White Toasted Oak barrel. The second barrel was used once by Kentucky's Buzzards Roast Whiskey to finish their bourbons. Same thing, bottled, uncut, and unfiltered, distilled and bottled in Panama. So there's going to be a lot of similarities. This one is aged longer. It was the Florida Rum Society who did this pick. Maybe this is better, but the store that had this one, they said that they've got a lot of store picks of bourbons and whiskeys, and they had this there. They had a tasting event back in February that I didn't know about, but this was something they said they had, and people were trying it, and nobody knew it was a rum. everybody thought it was just another one of their whiskeys. So it has a heavy whiskey taste with whiskey influence. Maybe the same on this. I don't know. A lot of people can't pick out the rum tastes, but we'll see as I taste this what I pick out. So again, one of them is Florida Rum Society. The other one is Marshall BWS store pick, and I've got a bottle, a tasting glass of each, and we'll try these. So first one is Speyside, picked from the Florida Rum Society. Definitely get that whiskey influence. Definitely, I know it came out of a Scotch cask, so I can smell what smells to me to be a Scotch influence. And it doesn't have a whiskey or a bourbon smell to it as much as it's got more of a rum smell, but it's got those influences from the Scotch. So definitely has legs. This smells really good. Try taste. That has a good taste to it. I didn't put in my notes all the details, but this first one has 55.9 or 111.8 proof. So it tastes a little hot, but not too bad. Definitely does have that. It's an overproof rum taste. If you're not a rum person, you would probably think that this was a whiskey. Very, very good. Definite Scotch influence. Does linger on the tongue a bit. I'm not getting any backburn, so it's even though it's a higher ABV or mid range for a whiskey, but for rum it's higher. Maybe a little backburn at the end after a while, but not enough to be to really cause any concern. That's just very good. I think this is probably more of a sipping rum. This one, again, this was the Marshall ABV pick, and this had been secondary. Its secondary barrel was a toasted oak used by a bourbon company. That's to finish their bourbons. Now this one was only 54.5, so a little bit lower, 109 proof. 54.5 is the ABV and 109 is the proof. A little more of a heavier whiskey influence on this. I think that toasted barrel really gave it a lot of whiskey flavors and smells. More so on this one, I'm getting a little bit of cinnamon. Not really like a cherry or anything like that, but all I can say is it's kind of got that bourbon back note, or actually more very, very bourbon-esque smell, but that little bit more of a rum influence is of course in there on the nose as well. But I can see where you might not know that this isn't whiskey or a bourbon, that you might not know that this is actually a rum. I can see that it also has pretty good legs. little more spicy, more whiskey-esque or rum or bourbon-esque. That toast, it's got that toasted whiskey or toasted bourbon flavor. But because the rum is the base spirit, it's got that rum influence. But it's very, very, very overshadowed by the bourbon influence. So I actually like this Florida Rum Society one a little bit better, but this one is also very, very good. Neither one of them is one that I regret getting. What the people over at the Marshalltown liquor store had said was that the way that they recommended drinking this is to do an old fashioned, but with orange bitters, not with Angostura bitters. So I'm going to do that with both of these. Because this top was messed up, I went in and I poured an ounce and a half here, and hopefully I still have a half ounce left here, because as you know, 2 ounces, so we're just a hair over 2 ounces is what you use as your base for your old fashioned. We're going to do these old fashions exactly the same. So we're going to put, we could use simple syrup, but especially with the higher ABV. But I want to just use a packet of Splenda, or you can use a cube of sugar, would be about the same sweetness. I would do a half ounce of simple syrup, maybe 3/4, depending on how sweet you want that. And definitely keto if you're watching your carbs. So, and then we will put a cherry on this, even though there is some carbs in the cherry. So first thing we do is we put 4 to 5, I think. I've written down 3 to 4 dashes of orange. So I'll do a little over 4 in each. So I think we need that orange influence in there. And so we'll just stir that in, same here. Then it's just your 2 ounces of whiskey. And most people will put the ice ball in first. Probably would have been a better idea, but I didn't. 2 ounces of this one as well. So these ice balls are clear ice balls, but you can use just a large chunk of ice or a few smaller chunks. So in each, you want to stir to cool the old fashioned. We already have the bitters in. And there's optionally putting a cherry in there, but I think we want to do that. But I think let's taste it before the cherry and see what we think. The Speyside. very, very good. And the toasted oak. Different, but very good. This one tastes a little sweeter, again, I like the taste of this a little bit better, but this is very, very, very good as well. Now, of course, the cherry and the cherry, these cherries, they're not Luxardos, they're Peninsula Premiums, and those are about 4 carbs per cherry. So each of these will have 4 carbs. So if you're doing low carb, you need to be taking that into consideration. And that is Grander Panama Rum, Speyside, selected by Florida Rum Society, Toasted Oak, selected by Marshall BWS in Marshalltown, Iowa. If you're able to get either of these, then get them. I've heard that Grander products are all very good, so if you see this brand anywhere, grab one. These are ones that are probably really good for sipping. They're really good in old fashions. I wouldn't use them as a cocktail mixer in general because they're the type that you want to use as either drinking neat or on ice or in an old fashioned. But you don't want to put these with a lot of other ingredients, I don't think, because you really don't want to lose this really great taste of both of these. And I'm assuming that all the Grander products have similar tastes, depending upon what their secondary cask is, and depending upon the length of time that they are aged. So that is it for today. Thank you for being here. I ask you to provide some comments. Let me know what you like about this video, what you dislike, what you would like to see different, more of the same. And like and subscribe and tell your friends and help build this community so that we can get more information out there about the low-carb ways to make low-carb cocktails, as well as the amount of sugars that you'll see in various rums and bourbons and whatever, because some of them add sugar. These I don't believe add any. They don't taste any sugars. One of these days I bought this and I'm going to start using it on some of the ones I know have sugar in it. Refractometer. But that's something that I look for that in the future. I've got some rums that I've got waiting to try that on and figure out exactly how to use that, because I want to know how much sugar's in there. These shouldn't have any sugar in it. The only sugar in what I made was the cherry, 4 carbs, not bad, something we can live with. So thank you. Have a good day, and see you on the next episode.